Have you ever found yourself reacting to a situation in a way that feels completely out of proportion? Maybe a small comment from a loved one sent you into a spiraling rage, or a minor setback at work left you feeling utterly hopeless for hours. Perhaps you felt an intense wave of anxiety that just wouldn't subside, leaving you exhausted and overwhelmed. If any of this resonates, you're not alone. Many of us experience moments where our emotions feel like they're steering the ship rather than us. Today, we're going to explore a phenomenon called emotional dysregulation, what it is, why it happens, and most importantly, practical ways we can learn to navigate these challenging emotional waters more effectively. It's a journey towards greater understanding and resilience, and it begins with shedding light on a very human experience. So, what exactly is emotional dysregulation? In its simplest terms, it's a significant and persistent difficulty in managing and responding to our emotional experiences in a flexible and appropriate manner. Think of it this way. Our emotions are like the engine of a car. When everything's running smoothly, we can accelerate, brake, and cruise at the right speed. But for someone experiencing emotional dysregulation, it's as if their emotional engine is constantly redlining or perhaps stalling completely. Reactions are often intense, prolonged, and disproportionate to the actual situation at hand. While healthy emotional regulation is our capacity to understand and manage our feelings effectively, to experience them fully but then allow them to pass, dysregulation means our emotions feel out of control. We might struggle to even recognize what we're feeling, let alone make sense of it. This isn't just about being sensitive or overreacting. It's about a deeply wired challenge that profoundly interferes with daily functioning, affecting our relationships, work, school, and overall sense of well-being. It's also important to understand that emotional dysregulation isn't a standalone diagnosis, but rather a central feature or symptom across a wide range of mental health and neurodevelopmental conditions. It's a transdiagnostic construct, meaning it shows up across many different experiences. So, what does it actually look like when emotions are dysregulated? You might notice intense and rapid mood swings, where you shift from contentment to despair in minutes. There can be impulsive behaviors, things like angry outbursts, self-harm, substance use, or risky decisions, all attempts to cope with overwhelming feelings. It can manifest as a difficulty calming down once upset, prolonged negative emotional states, or even internal reactions like completely shutting down or dissociating from reality. Chronic irritability, anxiety, or sadness that feels completely disproportionate to the situation are also common signals. Now, you might be asking, why does this happen? The origins of emotional dysregulation are multifaceted, stemming from a complex interplay of factors, much like an intricate puzzle. On the psychological front, early childhood trauma, neglect, abuse, or inconsistent caregiving can significantly shape how our brains and nervous systems learn to respond to perceived danger or stress. If as children our emotions were consistently dismissed or criticized, what we call environmental invalidation, we might not have learned healthy ways to process and express them. Then there are the biological and neurobiological factors. Research shows differences in emotion processing brain regions, such as the amygdala, which acts like our brain's alarm system, and the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for reasoning and impulse control. These areas might not be communicating effectively. Genetic predispositions, neurochemical imbalances, or even brain injuries can also play a significant role in how our emotional thermostat is set. And finally, environmental influences can exacerbate these challenges. Ongoing exposure to highly stressful situations, family conflicts, or financial instability can overwhelm even robust coping mechanisms, making it harder to regulate our emotional responses. It's a perfect storm where internal vulnerabilities meet external pressures. It's no wonder then that emotional dysregulation is frequently observed across conditions like borderline personality disorder, ADHD, autism spectrum disorder, bipolar disorder, PTSD, depression, and anxiety disorders. The good news, however, is that emotional dysregulation is absolutely something that can be understood and managed. There are powerful, practical workarounds and treatment approaches that have helped countless individuals regain a sense of control and peace. It's a journey, but it's a journey with a clear path forward. A multifaceted approach, combining psychotherapy, self-regulation skills, lifestyle adjustments, and sometimes medication, is generally the most effective strategy. Think of it as building a robust toolkit, each tool serving a specific purpose. Let's start with psychotherapy.
Dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT, developed by Dr. Marsha Linehan, is widely recognized as incredibly effective, especially for intense forms of emotional dysregulation. DBT teaches 4 core skill modules: mindfulness, distress tolerance, which helps us get through intense moments without making things worse, emotional regulation, and interpersonal effectiveness for navigating relationships. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is another cornerstone, helping individuals identify and modify unhelpful thought patterns that often fuel emotional intensity. Other valuable therapies include emotion regulation therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, and eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, for trauma-related dysregulation. Beyond formal therapy, developing self-regulation skills is absolutely crucial. Mindfulness practices like deep breathing, body scans, or simply observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment enhance your present moment awareness. They help you notice emotions without being swept away by them. Distress tolerance techniques like radical acceptance, acknowledging what is, even if you don't like it, or healthy distraction and self-soothing are vital for navigating acute emotional crises. When you're overwhelmed, grounding techniques, which engage your 5 senses to reconnect with the present moment, can be incredibly powerful. And finally, cultivating emotional awareness, learning to identify your triggers and understanding that every emotion serves a communicative function is foundational. Don't underestimate the power of lifestyle adjustments. Regular exercise, adequate sleep, balanced nutrition, and setting healthy boundaries significantly support your emotional well-being. These aren't just nice-to-haves, they are fundamental pillars of emotional resilience. And finally, medication can play a supportive role, often prescribed to manage co-occurring conditions like depression, anxiety, or bipolar disorder, typically working in conjunction with therapy. This understanding of emotional dysregulation is truly transforming mental health. It's a significant and trending topic because it touches so many lives, appearing as a core symptom across numerous prevalent conditions. There are ongoing important discussions and questions. Should it be a standalone diagnosis or remain a symptom? What's the precise balance of nature versus nurture in its development? And what are the optimal treatment pathways for each unique individual? Researchers are constantly refining our diagnostic frameworks and personalizing treatment protocols, moving towards an even deeper understanding of its individual origins.
What we know for certain is that understanding emotional dysregulation is the first powerful step towards managing it. It's a call to build resilience, to cultivate self-compassion, and to learn practical skills that can truly transform our experience of our own emotions. If you recognize these patterns in yourself, please know that help is available, and a life with greater emotional balance and peace is absolutely within reach. By understanding our emotional engines, we learn to drive them with greater skill, confidence, and safety, navigating the road ahead with intention rather than being driven by the currents of feeling.